Hey, this is Kurt the Boat Doctor out here at the Charleston. By God, beautiful day, but the wind I think is going to kick up about 1 o'clock today. There is a ton of people out here getting the fishing in before the end of the season. Tuna has still been there, not too bad far out north. Salmon, spotty, they're there, but they're just not biting. There's a lot of people out here today. But Big Jim says he's going to be checking out this 21 coho North River. They're the same 18 by 42 degree V, the Seahawk LE or the coho. Now if it was just a standard Seahawk, the only really differences is the bottom thicknesses and the side thicknesses, and it isn't by much. Like I say, 160, 190. And then so as far as the beam's concerned, it's still 8.6, same depth as far as the freeboard side, height. You still got the box girder, and that's where it's all about. If you spread your boxing out, your rigid, your frame underneath before you put the floor down, if you got big spaces, of course it's going to take thicker aluminum. But when you do a tight box construction, it makes it pretty stout. And I will say one thing on the LE or the coho editions, they actually will be a little faster boat than the standard Seahawk, and a little bit better ride, believe it or not. It might be the weight issue, because because on these here, you're cutting out that aluminum floor, which they've been running marine vinyl for a long time. Yeah, you guys can go ahead.
Oh. You know how to use this machine?
Yeah, I'm filming. I'll get back to you. Anyway, see, this is marine grade vinyl right here. So they've been running this in every boat. It's tough stuff. I've had it out for 20 years. Now the Seahawk comes with aluminum. So down the road where you can save on this boat is probably 15 to 20 grand. So I mean, for a few things like the metal floor, the Marina suspension, double shock seats, you get standard dual batteries, wars down. Them are the key things that your Seahawk has that this doesn't have, but it does have the wars down, so they did put that in. He does have the command link gauge, and he went Garmin. Good way to go. Garmin's the best as far as I'm concerned. And Simrad Lowrance is right behind it, and then I'd go for Uno. But so anyway, you still get the top, the sides, the backdrop. So I'm just saying, bang for the buck, you'd be better off getting the coho LE. Again, I do think they handle just a hair bit better. You got the shallow step deck, double drainage up here, and again, most of the time if you ever did take water in here, it's a shallower deck. It's just going to hit and come on out. So again, I'm not too worried. Them deep ones is the ones you got to worry about, because that water will hold in there longer. And you got that sharp entry. You got the strakes down below, double dip galvanized ease loader, spare tire, top coupler, so it's about 0 to 23, 24 inches to the top of the ball. Swing tongue, round 7. This has got the 2-speed on here, and then go here. Oh, and then that's another thing that Seahawk has over the LE is the dual wipers, but big deal. Add your own. All it is a wiper blade with an arm between them, so it's not even a secondary motor. So things like that, you can save a lot of money by doing this LE coho series. And it's the NRB's North River 21 foot 2025. And here's a nice thing too, they do a semi-delta on that half moon shape there. Run this on the outside and back. That's really important, because if those aren't there, what's going to happen is that water is going to come back on this leading edge right here, and it's going to shoot up, and you're going to have water spray coming up. So really important on having that. And I call that a high-speed reverse. When they do that, that helps from like maybe a little bit of lean on the turns. It makes it quicker to respond back. They do have a reverse on the chine, pretty good size one there. Transducer, and I don't know, I'll check, but I think that's either a TM51, which you want for offshore saltwater. Then they make the 56 and the 64s, I believe. That's more for freshwater, shallower water. So if you're going to saltwater, go to the TM51. 150s, total saltwater protected. You got zincs every cylinder, zincs on the block, zinc there, zinc underneath there. And you want to see them things work. And if you, especially if you moor the boat, say you moor it for 4 months and there's no pitting on this or those, they're not doing their job. You want them to, you want to see them pit, but you don't want to see them just corroded to hell. There's the difference. Then they made this kicker bracket. Actually, they got smart now because a lot of people do the T25 for like tuna. If I put a T25, I could probably do tuna at 7 to 8, where these just won't have the power to do that. The 9.9 is a great motor though. Top speed, you're only talking maybe 4 miles an hour between a 25 and a 9.9. So, but it's that more low end thrust when you go to the T9 or T25. Then they did this too, smart. Your pickup for your wash down, they put on the side, and I think we did this actually. I don't think that came from the factory. That way you get maximum water pickup because you can see the water line right there. You got your gas vent back here. And then another thing they did, I can't remember on this, but they did put tackle trays in these on the LEs where the, say the Seahawks are solid, but I think he eliminated that. So there are a bait box and a regular fish box. Now, if you ever do get a water leak and you know the boat's dry, first thing I'd check is the O-ring on that cap. After that, I'd look in there to see if I had any water staining off of this plate, because they're supposed to silicone those, especially if they have that inspection cap, but sometimes they don't. So then that's where you can get water coming in. And I had that question the other day. Then my next thing would be a transducer, but then on these you got a welded bracket back here, so you don't really have to worry about drilling holes through the back of the boat, so it shouldn't leak there. Then the drain plug right there, they use a nylon gasket, which is smart because you don't want metal to metal, because that's where you get corrosion and then buildup, blistering, and electrolysis sometimes. So they use that to keep that metal away. They use brass or stainless, it looks like. So that's another place, if it was going to leak, that's would be my third look. Number one would be that cap, two, that top cap, then it'd be the drain plug or transducer, then that. Or if anything's drilled through the back of the boat, just like in the back, they use that for zinc or trim tabs. And that's another thing. Your Seahawk, it has trim tabs right there, but a lot of people are going to Seakeepers or they're going to zip weights. So basically, I guess it's smart not to even get them with that, unless you have no intentions to go to a zip wake or a Seakeeper trim tab. But that's a good idea, so you could get your own instead of having to pay for that and then taking them off and put the Seakeeper or zip weights in. Chine guide, gear bath oil hubs, brown good, white bad, 5 lugs. Get Corrosion X, by the way. Anytime you see any bit of like little rust on there, you spray that down with that Corrosion X, and that will prevent it from rusting or corroding, and sometimes it will take the rust off. So carry a can of that with you. And then with chine guides, DMH guides, chine, it runs on that instead of carpet that sits up against your boat and scratches it. And if you notice, no paint or vinyl up to the top. Same here. We quit doing that quite a few years ago, because what was happening, they'd be painting these and then it would go up under this combing rail right here, and then water would get up in there and it would find a spot there was no paint, and it'd get between that and the paint and start blistering. So if you ever see a boat that's blistering all the way there and there, that's the reason. They painted it all the way up. But now we're starting to weld these too. You notice they're not just spot welded. So this is a damn good boat for the money. I mean, I think it's I'd probably buy it over the standard Seahawk just because of the money difference. I would probably have the wash down done, maybe the wiper's easy though, actually, on here, and the dual batteries with the switch. Other than that, I do everything. Like the floor, if the floor goes to hell, get some aluminum, just keep an eye out for it, and get some of that deck matting. And just put over the top of that, and there you go. You never have to worry about it again. And then you don't get the ladder, of course, but you can always do the old Sea Dog ladder that folds in with the red button. So that would work. So for 15-20 grand, you could basically pay for your electronics, everything that you needed in this boat, and still be cheaper than buying the Seahawk. Then adding your electronics. There's your battery switch. That's on. There's your primer bulbs, 10 micron. I would suggest you change that once a year, no matter what, and stick with the Yamaha. So I guess what I'm saying, if you get the Ellie or Coho, except for the suspension seats, you could doll this up with electronics, kicker motor, crab davits, totally loaded, and you'd be cheaper than a 21 Seahawk. Then you would have to start adding that other stuff, so you're still $10,000-$15,000 higher, no matter how you look at it. And it's the same hole. So I guess I'm just saying, why spend that money when you could get one of these and you're getting a good value? See right here what I'm talking about, the plastic. They have tackle box inserts. Right here, same thing. Storage box seat, cup holders. They're a little small. Got glove box. I think this thing was only like 79,000. I mean, shit, for 79, so there's 80. So about 95, I could deck one of these suckers out, where I'd be up to 110, 115 for the standard Seahawk. So here's your control for your main, your kicker, command link gauge, auxiliary switches. Is the Garmin XSV, good units by the way. Wipers, bilge pumps, anchor light, horn, fuel gauge. I'll check that and see if we got any good fuel in here. Yep, over a half a tank. That should get me. Now I'm going to break these motors in for the guys, because if a lot of people want these and they want to go fish, and then they got to worry about breaking them in. In theory, yeah, you can ask me personally and I'll tell you, but if you want to do a good job, I'll do that first hour on both of these. That's 2 hours, but the first hour, 1,000 to 2,000.